At some point in your life, someone has probably told you the same thing: you think too much. It might have happened during a conversation when you started asking questions others didn't think about, or when you kept analyzing something long after everyone else had already moved on. For many people, thinking is simply a tool they use when necessary, but for deep thinkers, thinking is something the mind does constantly. It analyzes situations, searches for patterns, and questions things others accept without hesitation. Because of that, the world can feel very different. If you relate to the following experiences, there's a good chance your mind naturally thinks deeper than most people. Small talk drains your energy quickly. You can handle it when you need to, and you know how to ask basic questions or keep a casual conversation going. But after a few minutes, something starts to feel empty. The conversation stays on the surface while your mind keeps searching for something more interesting underneath. You become more engaged when discussions move into ideas, perspectives, or the way people think. Conversations that explore meaning and motivations feel far more stimulating than talking about everyday routines. When discussions stay shallow for too long, your brain simply loses interest. Your brain also tends to replay conversations long after they end. For most people, a conversation finishes the moment they walk away. For you, that's often when the analysis begins. Your mind starts replaying what happened, remembering the exact words someone used, the tone of their voice, and the small pauses between sentences. You think about what they meant, how you responded, and what you could have said differently. Hours later, your brain may still be processing the interaction. This doesn't happen because you are obsessed with the situation, but because your mind naturally analyzes social interactions in detail. Another sign is that you often notice patterns in people's behavior that others overlook. Certain things stand out to you very quickly. You start noticing how someone reacts when they feel insecure, or how certain people repeat the same mistakes again and again. You observe how specific situations tend to lead to predictable outcomes. While others focus on what is happening in the moment, your mind automatically searches for the pattern behind it. Over time, this makes you surprisingly good at reading people and predicting how situations might unfold. Being alone also feels different for deep thinkers. For some people, silence becomes uncomfortable very quickly, so they fill every moment with noise or distractions. But quiet environments can feel refreshing to a mind that processes things deeply. Time alone gives your thoughts the space to settle and organize themselves. Ideas become clearer, connections begin to form, and your mind finally has room to process everything it has absorbed throughout the day. After a long period of social interaction or constant stimulation, being alone doesn't feel like loneliness. It feels like mental recovery. You also tend to question things that most people simply accept. When someone says, "That's just how things are," your brain immediately starts pushing back. Questions begin to appear almost automatically. Why do people believe this? Who decided this rule? Does it actually make sense, or has everyone just accepted it without thinking about it? Many social systems, traditions, and beliefs continue simply because people rarely stop to question them. But your mind naturally looks for the reasoning behind things rather than blindly following what everyone else does. Another experience many deep thinkers recognize is constantly searching for deeper meaning. A lot of people focus only on what is happening directly in front of them. Your mind tends to go one step further and ask why it's happening. You might watch a movie and start thinking about the deeper message behind the story. You might observe someone's behavior and wonder about the motivations driving it. Even simple everyday situations can lead your thoughts toward larger questions about human behavior, decisions, and consequences. Your mind rarely stops at the surface explanation and keeps digging until it finds something deeper. Explaining your thoughts to others can sometimes feel exhausting. Your thinking process often moves through several layers at once. One observation leads to a question. That question leads to another idea, and that idea connects to something you noticed days or even weeks earlier. But when you try to explain this chain of thoughts to someone else, the conversation can quickly lose momentum. The other person may only be focused on the first point while your mind has already moved several steps ahead. After experiencing this enough times, many deep thinkers begin simplifying what they say or choosing to stay quiet in certain conversations. It's not because they don't have ideas, but because translating complex thoughts into simple explanations takes effort. Finally, your mind rarely fully switches off. Even when you are resting or trying to relax, your thoughts continue moving. Your brain revisits past situations, imagines different possibilities for the future, and analyzes choices, behaviors, and outcomes. Sometimes this constant mental activity can feel overwhelming, especially late at night when your mind refuses to slow down. But this same process also allows you to notice details and connections that many people completely miss. The tendency to overthink and the ability to see deeper insights often come from the same mental process. Thinking deeply changes the way you experience the world. You notice patterns others ignore, question ideas others accept, and search for meaning beneath the surface of everyday situations. But this way of thinking also comes with challenges that many people don't talk about. In fact, many deep thinkers eventually discover that relationships and social interactions can feel more complicated than they do for most people. In the next video, we'll explore why deep thinkers often struggle with people and what's actually happening beneath the surface.